Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Coach Tyler Vann Show. As you can tell, Randy's not with us tonight. He's feeling under the weather, so it's going to be me and Coach Vann, and possibly John Seals join us here shortly. Coach, how's everything going today?
It's going. It's going. Huge week for us, so we're excited.
Yeah, this is what a lot of coaches call the second season right now.
Yeah, it is. I told them Friday night. We lost a tough one after the game. It's this season's over, 7-3. Good football season, but it don't matter anymore. It's about you did what it takes to host a home playoff game. Now let's start this new season off the right way and see if we can go 5-0 somehow.
Oh, absolutely. Let's go back to this past week and talk about the Fife game for a few minutes, if you don't mind. You started off. You got the ball open and kickoff and drove it down the field, about 4 pass plays, and you was in the end zone. You had to be excited, and I had to give your team a lot of momentum going into the game, or give them a lot of confidence.
Yeah, I felt like we had a pretty good game plan. If they was going to come out and play a cover 3 look to us, and they did that. We was able to complete some passes and gotten some good pass plays. And number 9 threw the ball well. The other not. And it was the same thing that happened last year. I knew if we wasn't going to be able to run the ball when they gave us a 5-man box, we were going to struggle to continue to score the football. And that's something that happened in the second half. Now, we had opportunities. We missed opportunities. I had us in a bad play call here and there. But, give them – they're a very good football team. Like I said, they're very well coached. They're a physical football team. And they played a better second half than we did. They deserved the win, and so we got to get better. We made a lot of mental mistakes Friday night in the second half that kind of shot ourselves in the foot, and they took advantage of it. And we just got to continue to be a better football team.
Right. Like I said, the opening drive, you scored, went 7-0 on them. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the first time all year Fife has actually trailed this season. So you did something that nobody else had been able to do this year. And but, they got the ball back. Kept it real close as far as halftime. It's 14-14, and the second half is like 2 different teams came out in the second half.
Right. Yeah. We they made some adjustments at halftime. We knew they were going to, and we kind of guessed right on. To be honest with you, on some of the things they were going to do in the second half. We knew they were going to play a little bit too high. They was going to drop a lot of guys in to keep us from throwing the football, and they were going to give us a 5-man box, and they did that. We just wasn't able to move anybody and make any progress on the ground. And I should have threw some more things over the middle there to that one linebacker look. If I could go back, I'd change it. But we just didn't play very good second half, and it wasn't a lack of effort. It wasn't a lack of trying. It was just a lack of assignment. So we just got to get better.
Yeah, the second half you came out and you had a few of the yellow flags on the field there, and it put you behind schedule, as most coaches says. And I've noticed this year, every time you get behind schedule, it's hard for y'all to get caught back up. And it seemed like that happened last Friday night in the second half.
Yeah, you got to, especially against a defense like that, you got to be on time, on schedule. First down is the biggest play of the series. First down's huge. And if you're able to get ahead of the chains, then you have the opportunity to be versatile in what you're going to call the next few plays. And when it's second short, third and short, you're more apt to take more chances down the field. We wasn't able to do that much in the second half. We stayed behind the chains. We hit a screenplay that got called back that was questionable. You had another holding call that was definitely not the correct call. But it is what it is. That happens. You play hard, they play hard. They're going to get calls. We're going to get calls. We just didn't take advantage of any of the situations that we had in the second half that we had a chance to make a play. And then they throw it and they score on 3rd and long, 3rd and 20. It's big. They made the plays and we didn't make them in the second half. That's what it boils down to.
Right. I'm going to say something a lot of people are going to probably scratch their head about, but because your defense gave up 35 points, but I felt like your defense played really well the whole game.
No, they did. They did a really good job. The most important thing when you're playing Fife, in my opinion, is you got to make them snap it over and over and over again. you can say that offense is built to snap it a lot, but there is no high school football team built to snap it 12 times a series. Everybody wants a big play to happen, and you got to keep them, hemmed up in the box. We try to keep them inside, and safeties played really well the other night. 13 and 25 come up, made a lot of tackles. If your safeties don't want to make tackles against a team like that, you're not going to get any stops. They did a good job. Linebackers did a good job. They caught us a few times in some pass plays, and you know what? That's our game plan. We don't want them to throw it successfully, but if we're making them throw it to move the football, then we're doing a pretty good job against the run. But late in the game, they hit that one pass over the middle in the back of the end zone that hurt us, and then we put our defense in 3 bad situations where we had a short field to defend. And I feel like we'd been in a way better situation if we'd have made them drive at 60 or 70 yards at a time. We didn't make them do that. We gave them, spotted them a couple good series, easy series there where we didn't protect very well on the left side. And they wasn't even trying to block at the time. They ended up causing the most problems. For the most part, we was able, I think one punt come off his foot wrong, and then one punt we had to pull down and run because they was blocking with one guy, and we had 2 guys look at him, and one guy trying to block him, and they got whooped. So defense played really well, though. So.
Yeah, they ran something I'm not sure if you saw on film. Maybe you can clarify this or not, where they put both running backs back there in a shotgun formation and just direct snap to them. Is that something you was expecting, or is that something new they done?
No, they've done that all year. They've done it some on film, and it's just get an extra lead blocker out there and kind of, they can run it either way then. But we've seen it. It's good, and everybody talks about Logan Anderson at 24, and he's a really good football player. I ain't taking nothing from him, but 22s are really hard runner too, and he does a really good job.
Yeah, I was on the radio with John the other night, and I told John, I said I felt like the 4 best running backs in the county were on the field that night with the 2 that Fife got and your 2 as well. I don't know if there's any 4 harder running backs as far as just running the ball extremely hard that was out there in the county anywhere.
No, I don't think so. I don't think anywhere on the mountain. So.
Right, because it was anytime those 4 running backs got the ball, they were dragging people with them.
Right, yeah. They all 4 run really hard. 22 for them. He kind of goes under the radar, don't get recognized as much as 24 does. But I enjoy watching that kid play football. He plays football the right way. He runs the ball hard. He's a good football player. Yeah,
it's they're all 4 of the running backs the other night did a great job, and their passing come out and surprised you as far as the first play of the game. They threw a 15-yard pass.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah, we both threw it the first play of the game. I know we hadn't threw it the first play of the game. I don't believe all year, and I know they hadn't. So
yeah, it kind of surprised me, and I'm sure it surprised a lot of people by Fife throwing the ball the first play. But anyway, that game's in the past. What do you feel like your team brought out of this as far as playing against a team like that?
That's a very good opponent to play week 10, in my opinion. A lot of people, question that, and that's fine. But in my opinion, it helps. It helps us. Playing a really good football team week 10. I believe we're a really good football team, and for us to step out there and play another one instead of just having an easy cakewalk week 10, I think it's going to help us going down the stretch here. We played a lot of really good football teams throughout the season. None as physical as what we played week 10. We hadn't been in a lot of physical games. We have been in physical games, but nothing like what we saw on Friday night. There ain't many teams out there, all 11 guys as physical as Fife, and that's something I wanted our guys to see. I believe we're a physical football team. But being able to see that right here before the playoffs is huge for us because we're not going to see a group, a unit like that as far as physicality for a while. But we're going to see some physical football teams, but not what we saw Friday night. I think it's going to help us. I think we're going to be more physical for it, and it's going to help us play fast down the stretch. I enjoy playing really good football teams. I think it makes you better. You don't get better playing nobodies. You don't get better playing teams that are not up to par. Like, you get better playing really good competition, and that's what we've done all year. And I think we we topped it off Friday night playing the best team, in my opinion, that we played all year. So it helped us a lot, and I think you're going to see it hopefully in the next few weeks.
I can kind of close my eyes and hear Coach Benefield telling me the same thing that you were saying last week as far as playing against Sylvania. He wanted to play against a balanced team like you, a physical offensive and defensive line like Sylvania was. So both of y'all felt like this was kind of a playoff type atmosphere game.
I agree. I was proud our fans showed up. They packed out our side. They were cheering our guys on, and we need them this Friday night more than we've needed them all year. We need a packed house. But I was really proud of our community showing up and supporting our guys. It was a great atmosphere, and it was a great opponent and a good game. We just got to do a better job of finding ways to win games like that. And I think we're going to in the future. I think we're going to find ways to win. I think we're getting better for it. You can say last year, we played 5 really well. We lost by 3 points, but I felt like we played them better this year. The score don't show it by no means, but I think we're stronger than we were last year in weight room wise, and I think it showed on the field. And I think we're going to continue to get stronger. That's something we're behind still a little bit, but we're getting our guys in the weight room. They're getting stronger, and it's something we're going to continue to get better at throughout the next few years. And I think that's something we got to catch up on them in particular in the weight room. But I'm really, really proud. They worked their tail off. I'm excited about our group this year. I'm ready to feel like we have an opportunity to make a run if we'll do the little things right and continue to practice the right way. We play a really good opponent right off the bat. We've hosted 2 playoffs games in 2 years, and we've got a tough draw both years. Fayette County's a really good football team. They throw the ball well, they run the ball well. They're physical on defense. They're fast at D-line. They got the running backs, probably the fastest running back we've seen all year. They're a really good football team. So we're excited about the opportunity.
Yeah, you're jumping ahead on some of my questions there, which is fine. That's great. But, yeah, my next question was going to be the Sylvania community. I mean, that sideline was packed from the 20 to the 20 and standing a couple deep on the sideline as well. The kids had to feel the excitement by the crowd being there.
Yeah, I think they did, and I think they understand our community's behind them and for them. And I wish we could get it packed out like that every Friday night, regardless of who we're playing, where we're playing, because these kids deserve it. They work their tail off. I mean, from December, January, all the way back to August, they worked their tail off for 10 guaranteed Friday nights, 10 of them. And we'd love to see crowds like that for all 10 of them because they deserve it. They've worked really hard to have support like that. They deserve to have the support that they do. So that's something I know our guys want to see is support like that every Friday night, regardless of who we're playing. And I think we're going to in the future. And we need them this Friday night to show up, be loud, because this is a playoff atmosphere that we're going to need. We need a playoff community to show up and be loud for our guys because playoffs are different. I love it. Something our kids and our guys experienced last year, and we're going to experience hopefully every single year in the future. And we want to start making runs, so hopefully that starts this year and starts Friday night.
So Fayette County comes to town Friday night. You told a little bit about what they are, kind of a balanced team. What type of offense do they actually run? And then we'll go into the defense.
They spread it out. They're multiple. I'll say that. They get a lot of formations. They can. It reminds me, not as much as us because we don't spread it out as much as they do. They'll get in 2x2 some. They'll get empty some. They'll get in some bunch sets. But they'll also bring it in tight some like Pisgah does and plays a little trips bunch squeeze in there tight, and then they can get in there and go heavy like Fife does. So they're very multiple on offense. They make you line up. And that's something we've worked a lot is just making sure we can get lined up correctly because getting lined up, it's over 60%, 70% of the battles. Make sure you're lined up the correct way, and then let's play fast after we get lined up. So we've spent some time making sure we can get lined up. We've trashed some things this week in practice that we haven't liked, which we do every week, and something that we're going to have to polish up tomorrow to be sure we're ready to go. But they're very multiple on offense, and they create some problems being that way. So we have to be locked in, know our keys, get lined up and play football.
So speaking of keys on the offensive side there for Fayette County, do they have like a go-to player that if they're in 3rd and 7 or 8, this player is going to be touching the ball?
Yeah, they like the running back 6. He does a really good job. He's fast. 17's the receiver they really like to throw the football to if in a situation where they feel like they have to have a throw if it's 3rd and 8 or something like that. 17 and 4 are 2 go-to guys, and then 6 out of the backfield. And their quarterback does a really good job of spinning it. So.
Okay, you said he can spin it, but is he mobile? Can he move around kind of like Smith?
Yeah, he can. He reminds me, I'm trying to think, he reminds me a little bit of North Jackson's quarterback. He can throw it and run pretty well as well. So.
All right, good deal. The offensive line, are they pretty big up front, or are they?
They are. Their tackles are big football players, 70 and 89 or 58. 52 plays right guard. Center's a young guy, freshman. They're 2 tackles, though. They're seniors. So had to do a really good job, against them on Friday night. I think threw some of their better linemen. Their interior 3 is pretty good as well, but their tackles are seniors, and they play like seniors on the O-line. And they're bigger kids, so we have to be ready to play.
Right. So do they have a lot of players that goes both ways, offense and defense?
No. It's about like us, I would say. Maybe a little less. 7 plays defensive end for him. He'll run in some heavy situations. 6 is their running back. He plays corner. 24 is their wing back. He plays corner. 4 is their safety. He plays receiver. Their D-line's a little different. That's where it gets different. Because 30, he's a defensive tackle. He don't play on the O-line. 56 don't play as much on the line. He plays D-tackle. They're about like us, though. We have a few guys that don't, but a lot of them that do as well.
So jumping over to the defense side, do they run like a 4-4, 4-3, 5-2? What's their defensive main?
They're based at even front. They're an even front team, so they have shown a little bit of a better look to some looks and showed an odd front, but they're really based at an even split look, and that's where most of their adjustments come from, is a split.
They got anybody on the defensive side that you got to kind of key on and say, okay, we got to keep him blocked or he'll make every tackle?
Yeah, number 7's a really good football player for him. He's a defensive end. He's a senior. He plays really hard. He's a really good football player. I enjoy watching him on film and the work that he puts in during the game and the effort that he plays with. 30, you'll look at him at defensive tackle. He's a smaller guy, but, man, his motor's 100 miles an hour. He plays really hard. I enjoy watching him play. So we got to make sure we get them 2 guys blocked. 89, the other ends are a pretty good football player as well. He's got a really, he's a bigger, taller guy. He fits that defensive end mode, so we don't have to be sure we get him blocked. But and their linebackers are really good. They play hard. 1 and 3. 1 feels really good. They like to blitz 3 a little bit more than 1, but 3 does a really good job as well. So we're going to have to be ready to play.
How's practice going? I know it's just Tuesday, but how's practice going so far this week?
It's went pretty well. We Monday was locked in yesterday. Monday's our mental day. That's where we're installing all the game plan. Offensively, not a lot new, so to speak. Well, I don't think we added anything new. You can say some, pass routes here or there are newer, but nothing really brand new. So we're just polishing up. They get to see what the game plan is and what coverage we plan on seeing the most and what formations we're going to be in the most. And on defense is a mental day on seeing all the formations they get in and how we're going to align to it. So it was a really pretty good Monday. They were locked in. Today went pretty well. So we got to make sure we finish off the week the right way tomorrow and polish up and be perfect. Try to as close to perfect as we can be tomorrow.
Right. So, I'll be remiss if I didn't ask, how about Fayette County special teams? Are they pretty sound on that?
Yeah, they do a good job. It's something that we have taken more time. We have taken more time over the last few weeks and drilled a little bit, more than we should have, done it in the past. We should have been more toned in or honed in on our special teams on kickoff, and it's something that we've taken and tried to fix with Indy time over the last 3 weeks. And I feel like our kickoff's gotten a whole lot better. We're doing a better job breaking down once we avoid a block and not just running by them. And then our return game's been better. But hopefully we're not having to return a lot, and hopefully we're having to kick off and cover a lot. So our punt team, we drilled it more this week than we have been. It's something you get in a routine of, and you go through specialty periods. You try to work everything, but you may not drill it as much as you need to. So we kind of went back to fundamentals on punt blocking and doing some other stuff that we probably got away from a little bit too much in the last few weeks, and trying to hone in and be the best us that we can be.
So with all the injuries you've had this year, how often do you have to go back and re-hone or retune some of this stuff because of 2 or 3 players that's normally in one position is having to be changed with someone else?
Yeah, it makes it tough. And sorry. You go through fall camp and you really work a lot of indie stuff and things with specialty, and then you get into the regular season and you have them guys that you're still repping it, but you're repping it more as a team rather than in them individual indie groups, and specialty because you just ain't got enough time in a day to do every specialty every day and be able to work indies every day. There's not enough time, especially when you're trying to get in and out. So then when you have 1 or 2 injuries and you're putting somebody in that didn't work maybe as much, or it's been 3 weeks since they've repped it a lot, because you ain't getting 2 deep reps every single day at specialty. It's just anybody who has any clue about how practices go, it's almost impossible to do every day. You just can't get it done. So it makes it really difficult. And, sometimes you just got to slow down and maybe cut it down to 1 specialty a day. And that's just something we tried to do the last few weeks and really focus on we've been focusing mainly on kickoff, to be honest with you, and doing different drills daily with them. And being able to cover and break down together and work as a unit to make a tackle. And I feel like it's gotten better. We kicked it the other night to Logan Anderson. And I think he made about 16 guys miss. Now, we wasn't supposed to kick it to Logan Anderson by any means. We're supposed to kick it to anybody but 24, but it come off his foot the wrong way and went right to him. But we still found a way to get him down, I think, at the 33, 34, which is we would take that any day of the week, the first 7 weeks. But now we're starting, do a really good job of getting them down inside the 30 and forcing them teams to drive the football.
Yeah, I told John, I said, I just about guarantee that 24 will not get this kickoff, and it went straight to them. So
straight to them.
You can blame that one on the announcer jinx there. That's my fault there. I apologize for that, Coach. But
no, we got to be better on. Hey, don't tell him not to kick it to 24. Let's tell him who to kick it to. So then 24 is not ever in his mind. He just knows, hey, 8 or 22 or 7. That's who I'm kicking it to. But anyways.
Yeah, he's doing a great job on kickoffs. Like we talked about last week, the kickoffs are getting a lot deeper than they were earlier in the year.
Oh, yeah, he's doing a really good job. 49 Andretti, he's gotten stronger. His leg's getting stronger. I'm excited about where he's going to be at this time next year. He's came a long ways this year. He puts a lot of work in. We'll be at practice, and I always look over and check on him because he's kicking field goals over here and working kickoffs and onside kicks and stuff like that. But he goes to work. I'm really proud of his progress this year, and he has, I ain't to thank for it because he does a lot of work on his own. He tries to get better and works with himself, and his brother comes up there and works with him because that's all he wants to do is kick, and that's all I want him to do is kick because he does a really good job doing it. So.
And what grade is he in? A freshman?
He's a freshman.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you got him for about 4 more years. So that's 3 more years. So that's
he'll have a chance. He'll probably get some looks before it's all said and done because he can kick it, and he's going to continue to get better.
Right. And I mentioned something earlier, and we don't give the game plan away or nothing like that, but health-wise, are you getting healthier? Are you maybe getting some players back for this week?
We get Kai Shankles back, 56, but that's it. And that's all we'll get back the rest of the year. Everybody else is out. So.
Oh, okay. Well, every person that you can get back actually helps out at this time of year.
Yeah, it is. 56 was having a really good year. We haven't been able to catch a break with Kai this year. He's had bad luck, but maybe it's all set up for him to have a really good playoff, So he's done a really good job. He comes to work every day. I made the comment. He was probably He's playing some of the best football he's played since I've been here, especially up front on the O-line early in the year. Like he's probably our best, and he's blocked. He's nasty after the play. During the play, he's trying to still make blocks. It's just a guy you want on the field because he's physical. He blocks through the whistle, not to it, through it. And so here's a guy who was missing, and we're glad to have him back this week, I can promise you.
Yeah, you kind of took the words out of my mouth. I was going to ask you if he's one of those that play to the echo of the whistle.
Mm.
Yeah. So, and that's great. You need that nasty on the offensive and defensive line there to, play to the very end there, and that kind of helps motivate the other players to keep going as well.
Oh, it does. It causes some arguments, causes some pushing and shoving, but it's stuff that's part of football, and I enjoy it. I promise you. That's something I wish we had more of at practice, I'd say.
Right.
You gotta have some tempers flaring a little bit because it is football. It's a physical sport, and that's what it's about. So, but we know at the end of the day, we're still brothers, and we're gonna go to war together. So.
Absolutely. I got a question I thought about earlier, and I wrote it down where I won't forget it. All these teams you played 10 games or 11 games, kind of the jamboree. You've watched a lot of films, not just the teams that you're going to play, but the teams that you're going to play, who they're playing as far as their film as well. Do you pick up anything that you may want to insert in your offense or defense by watching some of these other teams on film?
Offensively, I did last year. I got some things from actually watching Piedmont last year. Some run plays that we incorporated against odd fronts. But we've added. That's a tough question there because I always say one or two things that I like, and it's something that I normally don't incorporate. This year, but it's something I think about in the off season because that's what we did with Piedmont last year, and we actually ended up calling it Bulldogs. So because it was something that I got from them that I really liked, and we ran against them this year. I think once or twice, but it is something that I enjoy watching film on other teams, and I enjoy watching offenses. Something I really like to do. I'll steal stuff here and there because there's nothing made up by me and nothing made up by them. They got it from somebody else, and I want to get it from them if I like it, and they may get it from me if they like it, but I didn't come up with it. So I do that. We don't do as much on defense because we really do a good job, and Coach Clark does a really good job, but we're just going to get lined up. We're going to play technique football as best as we can and get our reads and play football, and I think that's what makes our defense really good at times, So we got to be really good this week. We got to be really physical, and we got to set a tone early in the game.
Right, and we got to get that crowd out too Friday night. It'll be a 7:00 kickoff at Ram Stadium. If you're listening to this, come out Friday night, support Coach Vann and the players. I know they'd appreciate you coming out and supporting them. And everybody that was at 5 the other night, I know he wants to thank everybody for showing up. He did earlier, and if you're there at 5 Friday night, come out to Sylvania this coming Friday night and support the boys as well.
Yeah, we need you there every Friday night. So the gate's open all day. If you need to bring a cover up there and put in your spot, if you want to save a spot, gate's open. I'm sure nobody's gonna go up there and steal your cover. So we need you there. We need you there on Friday night. There's no such thing as season seats on during the playoffs. State don't allow it, so we don't do it. So seats are open to anybody, first come, first serve. So we need you there, packed out, being loud and cheering on our football team who deserves it.
And something else, I'm not sure if it's state mandated or not, but all tickets are on the GoFan thing. You got to get your tickets there. And if I'm mistaken, I saw where it's going to be $10 a ticket.
Yeah, $10 a ticket. We don't set the price. Be honest with you, we don't make near as much money in a playoff game as we should. Most of that money goes to the state, but it is what it is. We need you to show up, though. Be loud regardless. Wish we could pay for everybody to get in, but we cannot afford that. But, no, there's no cash gates. Some schools in the county can do cash gates during playoffs. No, I'm just kidding. That was a joke. If they're watching it, then probably didn't laugh. But there's one school that got caught doing it. I won't call them out, but they probably won't do it again. But anyways, we can't have a gate. We're just go fan only. Go fan only.
Right. Yeah. It's crazy the way the playoffs rolls around, then the state kind of takes over and puts all these different mandates and rules and regulations in, and it makes it tough for smaller schools like, 1, 2, and 3A to be able to do some of this stuff.
Right. You actually make more money like as a team if you travel, because you're still going to get some of the gate. If you're an away team, and then you're going to get mileage and paid for travel. So you make more money if you go on the road. So, but it's better to play at home. So.
Right. Yeah, I remember 2 years ago, I think it might have been last January, we went out to, after Sylvania got eliminated, we went to Spring Garden, and it was go fan only. And you talking about trying to get a cell service out there to get the ticket up to get into the game. It was nearly impossible. So at least that's something that Sylvania's got going for them. They got a tower there inside the city limits of Sylvania and make it a little bit easier for everybody.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, come on out. You can't use that as an excuse. And if you have a debit card or a credit card, you can swap it at the gate as well.
And you already talked about the no reserve seats for playoff games. Is there anything else that we may have overlooked as far as the state mandates?
I don't think so.
Good deal. Awesome. And I know you're looking forward to Fayette County.
I'm game hungry. We do get concession stand. So that is something where we can make money is concession stand and parking. And I know some people are probably not too happy about having to pay for parking and all that, but I promise you all that money goes to these kids, and we buy them a lot, we get them a lot, we provide for them a lot, and try to give them the best experience we can give them. And so all that money goes back into the kids. So don't think that money's going to waste and it's not going to use, because every time you pay for parking and you go up there and buy a hot dog, I promise you it's going right back into these football players. So we appreciate everything you do. And if you're paying for parking and not parking on the other side of the state so you don't have to pay for parking, thank you for paying for parking, because it really is a big help to us. We spend a lot of money for these guys, and we wouldn't have it any other way. And then when you go to a concession stand, come up here hungry, buy a full meal for all 7 of your how many's there. We really appreciate it, and we thank you for buying stuff from the concession stand. I know you probably would whether I thanked you or not, but we really do appreciate everybody who shows up and does that for our kids.
And I don't want to step on your toes, but there's also another concession stand for the band.
Oh, there he is. I forgot about that. Bands over there. Make sure you go to them too, because they need money, and all that money goes straight into the band as well. So
right.
Either concession stand, you're supporting a group, go buy from both. And support. And I know that they do, and so we need it.
Yeah, if I left the band out, I'd have a little 13-year-old on my knees.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot that.
So, but no, and that's the great thing about it. Some places only do have one concession stand. You got to stand there in line forever. So I got 2 of them to choose from, and I think both places kind of have different options. So
they do, and then you got Mr. Dodd, who sells ag for ag. He sells peanuts, boiled peanuts down there. So everything goes into for a good cause. I promise you. So don't think that it's not. We're not pocketing it, and it's not coming to my pocket. I promise you, it's not going into Mr. R's pocket. It's not going anywhere, but back to them kids. So.
And let's see. Let's don't forget about the band. The band or the cheerleaders. They will have a stand set up selling probably some merchandise. They usually do every home game.
Mm-hmm.
So stop by and buy you a nice Sylvania shirt or something like that. So I think we've hit everybody as far as that is supporting, or that's going to be set up and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But Coach, you got anything else you want to join? We'll cut a little short and let you get out here and get some rest before the playoff games Friday night.
No, I don't think I'm good. I'm just ready for a dub. We need to win this Friday. And as long as we prepare the right way, I feel good about every game as long as we prepare the right way. But again, we're playing a really good football team Friday night. They're well coached and they'll come here ready to go. So we better be ready.
Randy would kill me if I didn't ask you this, but does your preparation for a playoff game change any as far as practice wise or anything on game day?
No, it's actually been the exact same. Nothing's changed. We try to. I like being planned out the same every day, every week. We change it here and there to try to catch them off guard, but we do. We try to keep everything the same. It's been the same this week. We'll practice tomorrow. We'll walk through Thursday morning, and then they'll have a lot of time off their feet before we play on Friday night. So.
I've been in several locker rooms throughout the years with several different coaches, and I'm going to say this about you: you're probably one of the most organized coaches there is, as far as even on away games. You've got time frames stuck on the wall saying. Skill people goes out at this time here. Lineman goes out at this time here. We're going to do this type of stretching at this time here. Most time, yeah, coaches do go by a certain time schedule, but it's not listed where everybody knows exactly what's going to happen when.
All right, yeah, we try. I can't stand not knowing. And then if I look down and somebody's not where they're supposed to be, it's easy for me to chew a coach out or somebody else that's supposed to have it right when it's on the board. It really protects me, and I like knowing what's taking place. And when we create that schedule, for pregame, we do a lot of stretching and stuff before we even go out for pregame. So we have a stretch group, a tape group, and a dress group. So all of them have to rotate at a certain time because I don't like them all standing in line to tape at the same time. And sometimes they kind of all gets thrown together, but they do a good job of stretching and rotating on their own. And then all that other. So I like knowing. I know the kids like knowing what time they need to be ready to go.
So how does that work? As far as I know, I said to let you go, but you're bringing up more questions that I'm curious about answers. When you got a small visitors locker room that you're in, how do you work around all that?
Yeah, it makes it tough some places. Like you go to Piedmont, it's 950 degrees in there, and then you don't want anyone in there. You have to change on the fly, and it makes it tough. But no, I'm kidding. I was just taking a shot at Coach Smith. He knows I was kidding if he's ever watches it. But it changes wherever you go. Most of the time, we'll have a stretch group outside, a stretch group, and then a tape group that's wherever we can get set up for tape. And then obviously the dress is going to be in the locker room. So most of the time it's just we got to move the stretch outside. That's why I love home games because we have a huge weight room, we have a locker room, and then we have a training room. So everything's kind of spread out. Kids are spread out, and we're able to rotate and kind of keep spread out better. So,
do you feel like with them being spread out before the game that helps keep them mentally in the game instead of kind of horsing around and cutting up?
I think so. They do a good job, man. They ain't got time. If they're in the weight room cutting up, something's wrong because you can't hear yourself because the music's blaring so loud. So they should be hard to talk otherwise. And then it's kind of loud in the locker room too. But they do a good job. I try to walk through. I actually haven't walked through as much as I did last year. I let the coaches take care of it. And normally I'm sitting in here working or doing something, getting ready to go. But normally I'm not paying as much attention as I used to. I trust them. It ain't that I didn't trust them last year. It was year one. Everything was new. But I trust these guys to rotate, do things the right way. And I walk through every now and then to make sure things are going the right way. And most of the times they are.
Yeah, I know I walked in your office before the Sachs game, and I wasn't really expecting you in there, but you was in there on the computer doing some work as far as printing out some more of the game plan that you was going to do that night. So I guess even game plans kind of change. You may think, let me put it like this: do you get to a Friday night and think that you want to do it one way, then all of a sudden you're like, no, I want to go back and do it this other way?
I hadn't done that on Friday yet. I've caught myself doing it on a Thursday morning. Thursday during a walkthrough, I changed something, and I never do that. We changed and pitched it. I think it was the Hopes Bluff week. We actually turned out that we hit that play for I think 3 big plays in the game, and I was glad I added it. I try to quit watching film like on Wednesday because if I see something, I want to change it. If I see something I hadn't seen, I try to watch a lot of film, Sunday and Monday, and even on Tuesday watch some film. But if I see something on Wednesday, I want to change it, and we're already 2 days late getting it in. I don't like doing it on a Wednesday. I'll do it if I see something I really like, but I try to cut myself off. Then on Thursday, I'm not watching any Fayette County film, because if I hadn't seen it yet, I don't deserve to see it, and I don't want to see it, and I don't want to change it, because I don't want to make changes on a Thursday, and definitely not on a Friday. If I have to make changes on a Friday, it's definitely not the kids' fault that they did it wrong. Now, as far as my play calling and stuff may change, but most of the time, to be honest with you, once a game starts, a lot of it's feel. But I do have a first down list and a third down list that I like. But it's tough. I quit. Try to cut myself off from making them decisions there. I just quit watching film, because I can keep watching film and I'm finding stuff I like, and sometimes it'll mess us up more than it'll help us.
Yeah, I know you got a paper that you carry with you, play sheet and all that stuff, but I don't really remember ever seeing you look at it. So, do you remember every play that you got, or is that just kind of? Yeah, you're laughing about it because somebody else has probably asked you this before, but I mean, do you just know the plays right offhand?
Man, I'm gonna tell you, I complain every Thursday and Friday when I'm making that thing, because I change it every week, and I change the third and longs, the second and shorts, the third and shorts, the first and tens. Our first 5 plays is set, and that's about the only time I look at it. It's at the start of the game, and then my favorite passes and favorite runs is on there. And then on the back, I actually put all the plays we've repped during the week. So I pretty much take our practice script, our practice script looks like this right here. So I'll take this practice script like that, and I'll print it, and I'll put it on the back of that call sheet, so that if I ever question something, I'll just look back and see what we did earlier in the week, or if I have a question on something. And I complain about it, and I'll sit in here, I don't know why I'm making this, because I don't ever look at it. But at some point in time, the week I don't make it, I'll reach for it, and I want to look at what I had on third and long, because most of the time I can remember what I liked on third and long, or what I liked, a certain down that I really like to screen down, or so on. So I can remember it. The one time I don't make it, I'll forget, and I'll go blank, and I'll start looking and forget the formation I want to be in. I look at it sometimes, and most of the time when I look at it, though, it's between series. That's probably when I look at it the most, if I have any questions to myself. But I need to do a better job probably looking at it. I'd probably be a better play caller if I looked at it more, because I spend a lot of time making it. A lot of thought goes into it to not look at it. And I think that's why I complain all the time when I'm making them. I'm wasting my time, but the one time I need it, though, I'll be mad I didn't do it. So I continue to do it week by week. I actually have them all on a spreadsheet, too, from North Jackson all the way through 5. I have every call sheet I made all year, and I don't know why I don't look back at them. But one day I may want to look back and see what I did. So,
right. You kind of answered a question that I was going to ask you earlier, or a few minutes ago, was a lot of coaches will script their first 10, 15 players, something like that. But you said you script your first 5 plays.
First 5 plays, never the same. And like we rep them most days. Like we'll have fastball period, and it's repped up them 5 plays that we're going to run, the first 5 plays of the game. Now, obviously, what really messes that up the most is if on play 1 you snap it over your head for a -9-yard loss, and it really messes up play 2, especially when it's a run play, or like you're. And it's always flip. Like I always allow, like if in my head I'm thinking, okay, if we return right hash, first play, I'm going to flip it, and it's going to be back this way, and then I can get back on schedule with how I wanted to call it, because there's always 1 or 2 plays you may flip depending on if you wanted to call it to the field or to the boundary, and that's always changing. But if you get off schedule with them first 5 plays, sometimes I'll trash it after about 3. Or if you score in the first 4, I don't ever go back to 5. I don't know why. I just don't do it. I always just go to whatever I'm feeling the next series, because that's happened. It happened more last year because we threw it a little bit more, and 4 could go get it. 5 did a good job. We were more of a big play offense last year. So a lot of times that first script, we'd score We were really good on first possessions last year. We've been pretty good this year, and at times we've been really good. I think it was a stretch where we were scoring first drives all year, and we've done a really good job on first drives this year. I think we went on a stretch where I know we scored Plainview. Let's see, Hope's Bluff we scored. I think Westbrook we didn't. I know we didn't score first drive of Westbrook. We didn't score first drive of Hope's Bluff. So we had 2-game stretch there where we struggled. And I really take pride in getting the ball first and scoring. I love getting the ball first. I feel like our offense does a really good job with them first 5 plays of getting something going, and we didn't in them two games. And so 5, we did a good job. So first 5 plays are important to me. I know for a fact, I've talked to guys who make a lot of scripts. If I made a 10-play script, there is no possible way I would stay on it. There's no way. I barely stay on it for 5. I have to make myself stay on it. And if everything's going good, it's a little easier to stay on it. But when you go first down, second down, and you're that third play is like a 3rd and short or a 1st and 10 play, it's hard to call that third play, man. It's hard to stay on schedule. And some guys are just, that's what they're going to call. I can't do it. I'm always going to be in a perfect play, and sometimes you just can't.
I know you usually, well, I say I know. It seemed like being on the sideline with you some this year. You wait till the defense kind of gets sets up before you actually signal the play in to know where the defense is lined up at. And it's like that helps you out a lot.
Yeah, I think a lot of times, like I freeze count it as fast as we can freeze it. And it's not, if we get them to jump, good. Congrats, we get 5 yards. And I got to see how they lined up to it. But a lot of times I freeze it just to make sure we're getting a look that I want to see. And especially like against Westbrook, when they were moving a lot, they were getting lined up. I'm pretty sure that they were getting lined up wrong a few times, in which made it trouble because I felt like I was in a good play compared to what they were doing. And then it ended up being a bad play. And it really ticks me off when that happens. It's a whole lot easier to call plays against a technique sound and alignment sound football team. I know that sounds crazy, but that's the truth. Because if I know, hey, they're going to be lined up the right way and they're going to play technique, I can get us in a pretty good play call. But it's still hard for that play to work if there's technique sound and they're lined up right. But sometimes I mess you up. And you end up in the wrong call, but I like freezing, or I like calling the formation, letting them move around, and me being able to see it before I call the play in, because I want to be in the perfect play call. And so
I know there toward the end of the Westbrook game, you had your second string in. Westbrook had some of their second string in, and jokingly you yelled at Westbrook and said, "Would y'all hurry up and get on one side or the other where I know where I need to run the ball?" And I've never seen a coach kind of, I know it's just a joke, but she's kind of yelling at the defense because they wouldn't ever get settled in to where you could see what they were going to do.
It was bad. I wasn't joking. I was mad. I probably should say I was joking, but I wasn't. I was really mad at the time, and I should have said it. I don't know if they could hear me. Maybe they could. I said it loud. I screamed it, but yeah, I should have just the game was over. I should have just let Coach Wilson call the plays. That way I wouldn't have to worry about it. I should have just said, "Wilson, you got it." I need to do that more in the future. He's come a long ways, and I need him to start calling more plays, especially in situations where I feel like the game's in hand, because he's growing up. He's learning a lot. And I want to see him start calling the offense a little bit more. So maybe in the next year or so we can see that.
Oh, that's cool. That's great for Coach Wilson, hearing how much you got trust in him as far as being able to do that later on. Yeah,
that's for sure. I'm never going to give up the full rights to play calling on with the ones and stuff, just because I love it. Actually, when I went into coaching, I wanted to call plays. I wanted to be an offense coordinator, and I thought for the longest, like them first 3 or 4 years, that's what I wanted to be. For sure, I just wanted to focus on one side of the football, call plays, and that was it. I love it. I love watching defenses. I love trying to figure out how to score. I love the adjustments in the game of trying to score the football. And then after being a head coach, I dealt with defense a lot at Woodville. It's different on that side of the ball, But I enjoy that part too more than I thought I would. Than getting here and working with Coach Clark. I give Coach Clark a lot of, I let him have the defense, and I trust him to do it. We talk about it a lot, but I trust him. If I didn't trust him, I wouldn't want him to be my defense coordinator. I trust him to do that job. I give him the power to make adjustments. Do we talk about him sometimes? Yes. Do I ever get mad? Yes. See, but sometimes he's right, sometimes I'm right. But he does a really, really good job. Like I can't tell you enough about how good a coach Coach Clark is with the defensive side of football, and he's gonna make a really good head football coach one day if that's something he wants to do, and we're gonna keep him around here as long as we can keep him. But we have a really good staff, and I'm excited about where this program's headed, and hopefully, this year we make the run that we're supposed to make and turn around in 5 weeks, and we're preparing for a game in Auburn, because that's the goal, and it's a realistic goal that we can have. Football, you get in the playoffs, anything can happen. We have the athletes to do it. We have the linemen to do it. We're not healthy, but all you have to do is take care of the football, play assignment, sound football, and you're going to have a chance. And that's our goal, is to have a chance. So it starts this week, 1 week at a time. I told the seniors this week, I don't want this to be the last one. Don't want this to be the last Wednesday. You can start counting it down now. This is. Yeah. Don't make this the last Tuesday. Don't make this the last Wednesday. It's something I always heard when I was growing up and playing. Like, I remember being a senior. My playoff week, we got beat round 1. I remember hearing Coach Gilbert say it, don't make this the last Wednesday. Don't make this the last walkthrough. And don't make it, because it stinks when it is, and you can't explain it. But I feel like our seniors are ready to go, and our group's ready to go, and we're ready to get a playoff win. We just have to play good football.
Absolutely. And like we said at the start of the show, this is the season right here. You played to get into this part of the season. And I'm sure your boys are going to be ready, because I know you got them prepared and everything. And, Coach, I appreciate your time tonight, and good luck come Friday night.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. Tell Randolph to get better.
Yeah, he's afraid he's got the flu, so he called me a little bit earlier, and boy, he sounded rough, and so he said.
I heard him talking earlier on here. He did sound rough, but it's when you're a Tennessee fan, it seems like you get a little bit more sick than everybody else. That's just how they're built. They're enjoying the year.
I'm not making no comments on that one there.
It's the year. They're ranked number 1. Did you see that?
I did not. Are they ranked number 1?
That's what I heard. Coach Wilson said it before he left. I figured it'd automatically heal. It'd be like a flu shot for Randall. Just immediately better. When saw that it was ranked 1.
I know he did tell me earlier this week that it was first. I think it's only the 3rd time it's ever happened that 1 versus 2 has ever played in the SEC in a regular season. So
Georgia dropped to 3.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Who went above them?
1 ranked Tennessee Falls. My goodness, I'm gonna puke. Ohio
State.
Kirk Herbstreit must have talked to every one of them into voting for him.
Yeah, there you go.
It is what it is. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for them Tennessee fans. If you want to know one college fan base that's more obnoxious than Alabama fans, it's Tennessee fans. I'm an Alabama fan. I can't stand listening to Alabama fans, and I'm an Alabama fan, so
y'all used to go down to a lot of Alabama games. Has that changed since you became a head coach?
Oh, yeah. We don't go. Me and Hannah don't go. We watch them on TV, and I've gotten better now. I used to, when I was younger, I consider myself young still, but when I was younger, I used to get really, really mad at Alabama football, like unhealthy. Like I was one of them obnoxious Alabama fans. I've gotten better. Now I care and I root for them and stuff, but I think it's just more so that I'm so bought in and into Sylvania or wherever I'm at since I got into coaching. Like it's just that takes up my time, and then I understand what it takes. I don't know what it takes when those championship by any means, but I see the work that they have to put in, and it hurts them a whole lot more than it hurts any of them fans out there. I don't know, like maybe the fans that bet $15 million that Alabama wins don't hurt them as much as that, but it hurts them and them players that put in the time. So,
what about the firing at Auburn this week? Let's get your opinion on that.
Why fire him now? You didn't fire him a week ago. You didn't fire him 2 weeks ago. Why not just stick it out? How about this? Don't fire somebody till you have somebody else ready to be hired. And then that's messed up. The coaching world, Nick Saban, everybody expects to have a Nick Saban or somebody who's going to go undefeated every year. And there's not
I have made the comment that Nick Saban ruined it for everybody because of the fact of how quick he turned Alabama around.
Yeah. And then I saw something. I forgot the number, but Auburn was paying like 2 coaches. I think it was $52,000 a day. That's how much it's costing now. And they're not even coaching. Like
they're sitting at home and watching this podcast making $52,000.
Must be nice. Auburn's like where you go when you want to retire as a coach and get fired in a year so you can get paid the rest of your life. And then Tennessee's that way too. Give Heupel 2 years. If he starts losing, and they'll want him out. He could win a natty this year, and that poor guy, he'd lose to Alabama next year, and they want him fired. That's just college fan bases nowadays. That's just how it is. I see posts where they want Nick Saban fired. How crazy is that?
Yeah, it is.
It's just
all about the moment right now.
Microwave society, what you have right now. And you can't sustain what, in my opinion, what Nick Saban's been able to do. It's unsustainable, even for him. Like, I don't think it's going to continue forever. Obviously, he's lost games, and he's in the perfect spot where he's the greatest coach with a really good program traditionally, whatever. Microwave society, everybody wants 13-0 every year. What can you give me this year? When you go 6-6, let's find the next guy instead of sticking with somebody. I think if Auburn still had Gus Malzahn, they'd be in a better spot right this second than they would be if they.
Because the coach don't forget how to coach. You know, he's still coaching the same way as he did, 2 years ago or 3 years ago.
That's what bothers me. You're on there, the same guy who's talking about how great he is the same guy wanting him fired 2 years later, and he's the exact same coach. Different players, same coach. It just bugs me. But anyways, and it's trickled all the way down to the high school level. I can't stand that, man. That bothers me. I can't stand seeing coaches get fired, but sometimes it is maybe it's deserving, but sometimes I just think it's wrong. But in that case, and in college, I don't feel bad for college guys because they're most likely getting paid a killing to get fired. So.
Right. Well, look at Matt Rule up there at Carolina Panthers. They got rid of him 4 weeks ago, and he's making $750,000 a month for the next 2 years.
Yeah. That is crazy.
Why not just go ahead and,
If I was him, I'd just go ahead and I'd go fishing.
Yeah, well, why not just go ahead and keep them throughout the year, but they have made an improvement, though, but, you never know.
Yeah, if you fire him right now, you ain't making the playoffs. Don't matter. It's over. The season's over. Like, let's finish this one out. Same with Horson. Let's finish this year out. Let's just let him finish it. When did they start firing people mid-season?
I don't know.
Has that always been a thing?
Not that I know of. I mean,
started with Lane Kiffin on the tarmac, then it
could have. I think it really started a couple years before that, but that wasn't a good deal as far as firing Kiffin on the tarmac. And who was it the other day? Arizona State fired Herm Edwards in the end zone right after the game.
So that bothers me. But if you pay, hey, guess what? You could fire me anywhere you wanted to fire me if you were going to pay me $52,000 a day. You could walk on the sideline in the third quarter and say, "Hey, man, you're gone." I said, "Okay." check.
You just give them your headset and be on your way?
Be on my way. You paying me that much money. And I bet they think the same thing too. So
yeah, absolutely. So, but Coach, I didn't mean to get you on this tirade here as far as coaches and all that here at the end of the show, but it's great having you on here, and best of luck to you. Me and John will be up in the booth Friday night calling the game. 98.3 Wild Country will be carrying my understanding. We're going to be with you throughout the playoffs. So we're looking for 5 more games to be doing, and hopefully in Birmingham or in Auburn as well.
Oh, yeah. We're excited. Got to go to work. And thank you, guys.
We appreciate you doing the sideline interview before halftime with Nick Bryant. We're trying to get him to ask questions, but we're getting closer, hopefully.
Are y'all doing the game this week?
Yes, sir.
I got you.
We're with, as far as I know, we're with Sylvania until you get eliminated. That's why I say I hope it's 5 weeks from now.
I got you.
So
good deal. Yeah, it'll be a while. Hopefully, if we do what we're supposed to.
We're hoping so as well. Coach, appreciate you joining us. Randy, get feeling better, man. Hope to see hear from you soon, and hopefully you feel better. And thanks for joining us tonight on the Coach Tyler Vann Show.